I bought the auto restoration shop so my daughter could rebuild classics, not destroy her soul. When I walked in, I found her scrubbing the oil pit while a stranger revved a customer's engine. I liquidated my pension $140,000 to buy Vantage Motors for Maya. She was the best mechanic in the county and she deserved a bay of her own. 3 months later, I dropped by to surprise her. The air was thick with unventilated exhaust. The floors were a slip-and-fall lawsuit waiting to happen. And there was Maya, deep in the grease pit, hand scrubbing the concrete while coughing on fumes. Leaning against a 67 Shelby in the clean bay was Jax, Maya's business partner. Designer jeans, pristine hands, filming a TikTok on his phone. Scrub harder, babe, Jax laughed, zooming in on her misery. The lighting is bad down there. I asked what the hell is going on, I said, stepping into the frame. Jax smirked, turning the camera on me. It's called content, Pops. And I'm the majority owner. Maya signed the papers last month. We're going global. Maya looked shattered. She climbed out, wiping grease from her eyes. I had to, Dad. He promised he brought in the investors. I'm 65. I spent 30 years as a senior investigator for the state labor board. I know every exploitation tactic in the manual. And as I stood there watching Jax play influencer, I saw the violations stacking up. Unpaid overtime disguised as equity. Hazardous materials handled without PPE. Minors working off the books in the back. Blocked emergency exits behind the photo backdrop. Every corner Jax cut to fund his lifestyle was a felony. That night, Maya brought me the partnership documents. Jax had tricked her. But that's when the real bombshell dropped. The papers didn't just give Jax 51%. He had buried a liquidation clause in the fine print. If the shop's cash flow dipped below $5,000, he could seize full assets. And Jax was siphoning cash into his personal branding account to force that dip. I smiled for the first time in 24 hours. Jax had made a critical calculation error. He was trying to steal labor from the daughter of the man who wrote the state's worker protection laws. I filed a priority level 1 complaint. I called in favors from the fire marshal and the EPA. 2 days later, a multi-agency task force raided the shop. They found the wage theft, the safety hazards, and the illegal disposal of chemicals. Jax was hit with $65,000 in fines and an immediate cease and desist order. But I wasn't done. I created a burner account and dropped the audit logs into the local car club forums. Then I sent the evidence to the owners of the cars Jax was joyriding for his videos. Within hours, the post went nuclear. The car community is tight. Jax's reputation was incinerated. Jax tried to blackmail me. He dug up an old case where I was accused of bias, a case I was exonerated for with a commendation. He demanded $25,000 to keep quiet. Instead, I called the investigative reporter who covered my exoneration. We gave him the exclusive on the blackmail attempt. His threat blew up in his face. We filed a civil suit for embezzlement and fraud. Jax and his cameraman ghosted. Maya's landlord saw them loading gear into A-hall at 3 a.m. Before they ran, Jax drained the client deposit account, $18,000 meant for parts. I tracked them to a drift event in Texas. We flew out with a bounty hunter, found them at a motel near the track. Jax had blown half the cash on tire sets and bottle service. The Texas Rangers arrested him in the paddock. Jax got 20 months in federal prison for wire fraud, plus $18,000 in restitution. Maya's husband finally stepped up, apologizing for not seeing the signs. He took a second job to cover the gap. The car community raised $35,000 to help Maya reboot. Mechanics from 3 counties showed up to paint the bays. 6 months later, Vantage Motors is fully booked until next year. Maya owns it 100%, free and clear. Jax thought a retired bureaucrat was just paper and ink. He forgot that paper cuts can bleed you dry if you don't read the fine print.